Devastator, I think, has always been my favorite combiner, so I was pretty excited when he was in the movie, and now I've got a papercraft version of him, and he is awesomely detailed. First of all, we'll do a quick size comparison so you can see how big he is. This is the Legends Devastator here. So you can see he is a little bit taller, a little bit bigger in scale overall, almost more taller than a deluxe sized. I'd call him a Voyager, I suppose, if you need to label him in a class like that. You can see he's got all the same parts, very similar heads and whatnot. I'm going to show you some in-detailed stuff in a second. I'm going to give you a quick turn around here. Got some chicken legs type of thing with the heels in the back, I think, and got the nice Devastator hunch going on. And he's supposed to just glue together, you know, straight solid, but I modded mine a little bit. I'll show you that in a second too. The one thing it does give you as an option is you can also use the you can use the red face. They give you red face if you want to glue that on to make him movie accurate. I think I'm going to keep it so that he's gray because that's how it matches my toy, which I'll probably display him next to. And then he's also got some red that goes on the side of his mouth there. So you can make him movie accurate if you want. They give you the parts to do so. Now the parts for this is on Hobby Kit Kirtas, so I'll give you the link in the bottom. Amazing site. They do some really good papercraft. This one's no exception. The parts that they give you, you can make the vehicles for Devastator, individual vehicles, all 7, or you can make them into this version. Basically, they each divide up into little pieces so that they've got all of the, you know, there's the tread and whatnot, and for the robot mode, you glue them up under here. For the robot mode, you glue them on the side where they would be for vehicle. You know, same with the crane, it would be in a different position and all that. These parts aren't included for the vehicle mode, it's just for the hand. But, so there are a couple pieces like that. So, my first instinct was to want to make it so that they could transform from vehicle to robot, but some of the pieces, there's no way you could hinge them. They completely disassemble and go somewhere else. So, I gave up on that idea, but I did, however, mod it so that he is posable. So, he you glue the mouth in place, but I made it so that they pivot his mandibles, so he's got a movable jaw. You can move his arms up, and the tricky part was actually making them tight enough so that they would stay, but it came out pretty good. And his arms can pivot like that. I made so his head tilts. He's got a head turning kind of thing, like a pug, and his waist. So I like, probably my favorite pose with either of them is having him, so he's got one arm down on the ground and one up in the air, just as the little guy. And so let me show you all the parts I made that he disassembles, and the pivot actually makes it part of the disassembling process. That's all the pivots, except for the mouth. Hips come apart like that. You can kind of see. So I glued, this part wasn't even supposed to be there, it was just supposed to be glued straight on. But I printed it out and I put it onto there, cut out the circle part, and that's just on there to cover up the spot. And then this part here, circle slides into it. Nice and easy, there we go. And so you can pivot, as well as disassemble. And of course his head, which just fell off. This slides out. These slide out like so, and then his legs. So let me refocus the camera here, and I'll give you some close-ups of all these guys because it's worthy. Here's Rampage, his foot, one of them. And as you can see that all these pieces here, they're individual pieces, little tiny, you know, bars and whatnot, and and then there's one piece for the body. So these treads in vehicle mode would be glued straight like that, and these would be glued vertical. The whole shovel thing would be scooped out a little bit and forward. This little piece is glued onto the back there. So you can see how each piece would be would change over for vehicle mode. It's just a matter of how you want to. Once you build all the pieces, it's just a matter of how you want to glue them together, and which mode you want to make. There's one foot. There's good old long haul. Get the bed in there. You can see this would be the bed. This part's glued more underneath like that, and the cab. This whole thing it would be glued right under here. Here's the hips. Overload. Very nice detail. I like how there's great detail in both modes, really. Here's, you know, the Decepticon face. They'd be glued on side of each other. This part makes the cab, and this part, if you make it in vehicle mode, actually indents in so that it's got the, you know, carrying spot. I'm at a loss right now for the actual words. There's another wheel that would go on for whole vehicle mode. This one actually has a little bit of a cutout so Rampage can fit in there. There's overload. Now we've got, this is, let's say, scavenger here, and this is the shovel part, which has an insert of it when it's actually in shuffle mode, and then there's some other pieces that connect together. I think, let's see, these go like that, I think. I don't know, I didn't pay much attention into how it goes in vehicle mode, but there's a handle for the shovel. And the treads, I think, go in the same spot. I'm not exactly sure on that. And these ones, just, I mean, this part, when you're in vehicle mode, these are going to be covered anyway, but just for those who want to do this kind of thing, I just printed out another part that I printed out one extra page with these, and so I used, you can kind of see the pistons and stuff there. So then I cut out the right shape for the groove right here. There's a pocket, and I cut this part out. You can see where the cut is, and I just glued the part that I cut out into this so that it looks just like it's, you know, the gears and stuff like that. If you don't have this on, and then the circle with a little tiny circle in the middle, so that it's raised up away from this, and that's what's glued onto that. So it hooks into that. And there you go. And I made this one so it slides up and down because this part, notice you'd only get this much of a pivot. So once it goes to that part, it actually slides up. Yeah. And when you need to do that. So there you go with him. Scrapper. I like the hand in this one. Very nice. And there's another, for vehicle mode, there's an alternate shovel that goes into the front of this guy. But otherwise, he's pretty much already in his vehicle mode there. Just a different shovel in the front. Very cool. I like that he can stand on his own. Here's Hightower. So I had a lot of little detail, little tiny box things there that glue into place. Very intricate detail. Lots of tiny stuff. You certainly wouldn't want to try and shrink this model down half size. That would not work well. That would be very detailed, tiny stuff. That would be almost impossible to fold. Of course, now that I say that, somebody's going to go try it and they're going to prove me wrong, which would be awesome because I would love to see it. And you can see this guy actually is quite different in his vehicle mode versus robot mode. This is, you know, you can see part of the cab side there. Here's the other part of the cab side, so those two pieces glue on here. And then this is the hood part that goes up like this onto his nose, and then you've got the grill on the front there, which is covered by this. And then this is the part of the cement mixer. There's another piece that glues on the back there, and all these flattened pieces are unflattened. They're make the back of the cement mixer type thing, but all the wheels are still there. And so I made them little pivots for mandibles there. At first I was like, well, let me just glue those on. It would be too much of a pain to do pivots. But I'm like, which pose do I want to put them in? Ah, right, I'll make the pivots. Posability, the inspiration for posability is often my wishy-washiness and lack of committing to a certain pose. I want flexibility and variability and whatnot. So there you go, and then here's a closer up here. If you want to, you can cut out and glue on the red bits, make him movie accurate. Because for some reason in the movie he had a red face, but all the toys he's got gray. Which looks pretty good too. I like the red mask there. Here, I like the red on here. Here, yeah, you know, I'm used to the gray from my figure more than anything else. But gotta love options. Anyway, he is so cool. I highly recommend building him. If you're a Transformer fan, Devastator fan, Papercraft fan, all of the above. Oh, and there's really good instructions too online that shows you where to glue the pieces all together. Anyway, hope you like.